Your cat sleeps next to you every single night. But last Tuesday, something happened that no one could explain. A woman woke up at 3 in the morning to find her cat sitting completely still at the bedroom window, ears up, body locked, staring into the dark outside. She thought it was nothing. She went back to sleep. What happened next changed how she saw her cat forever. And if your cat sleeps beside you, what I'm about to tell you will change everything too. Welcome to our place. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now, because we go deep into what your cat is actually thinking, feeling, and doing when you're not paying attention. Because here's what most cat owners never stop to consider. Why does your cat choose to sleep right next to you? Not on the cat tree, not in the other room, right next to you. It feels sweet. It feels like you've been chosen. But what's actually happening in that moment is something far more powerful than most people ever realize. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at your sleeping cat the same way. Again, let's start with the one that surprises everyone. Think about the last time your cat pressed their body against your side. While you were lying in bed, maybe you assumed they were cold. Maybe you thought they just wanted warmth. But here's what's actually happening inside that brain of theirs. And the science behind it is remarkable. Cats are descended from solitary hunters that operated on a very specific survival principle. You find safe shelter or you don't survive. In the wild feline world, rest is one of the most vulnerable moments in an animal's life. A sleeping cat is a cat exposed to predators, which is why wild cats seek hidden, elevated, or enclosed spaces for sleep. Your cat hasn't forgotten that wiring, not even slightly. When your cat chooses to sleep pressed against you, they're not just seeking warmth. They're making a deliberate security calculation. They are placing themselves beside you, because in their mind, you are their safe territory. And safe territories are where cats rest deeply. A study published in the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats show significantly lower stress hormone levels when sleeping in proximity to their bonded humans, particularly in familiar environments. This isn't random cuddling. This is your cat's nervous system telling them that being close to you is one of the safest things they can do. And here's the part that stops most people cold. Your cat is not doing this because you trained them to. You didn't teach them to sleep beside you at night? No one did. That behavior comes from somewhere older and deeper than any food reward. It comes from trust. That predates the relationship you two even have. But that's just the beginning. Because the position your cat chooses when they sleep next to you, that tells an entirely different story. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Because what it reveals about how your cat sees you might be the most honest thing anyone has ever communicated to you without using words. 2. Have you ever had one of those days where everything went wrong? A hard conversation at work, bad news, a kind of bone, deep exhaustion that you can't quite explain. And the moment you walked through the door, your cat just knew. They didn't meow for food like usual. Instead, they walked over quietly, sat a few feet away, and just stayed there. No demands, no vocalizing, just presence. That's not a coincidence, and it's not luck. Your cat was reading you. From the second you opened that door, cats have spent roughly 9,000 years living alongside humans. In that time, they have become extraordinarily tuned to human emotional patterns, more so than many people give them credit for. A landmark study from Oakland University found that cats adjust their behavior based on their owner's emotional expressions. They're not just reacting to your tone of voice. They're reading your face, your posture, the micro tensions in how you're holding your body, the specific rhythm of your breathing when you're under stress. Research from the University of Lincoln has shown that cats can distinguish between happy and angry human facial expressions, and they modify their own behavior accordingly. Your cat isn't just sensing your mood through body language. They are visually and audibly mapping your emotional state. So when you've had a terrible day and your cat comes to be near you that evening, they didn't stumble into that moment. They observed you, they assessed you, and they made a deliberate choice to be present because their entire history of coexistence has prepared them to read the humans they've bonded with when those humans are struggling. This is also why cats with strong bonds to their owners often become what behaviorists call emotionally responsive companions. They move through the house differently on hard days. They stay closer, they initiate more contact. They're not being needy. They're being exactly what they evolved to be. A presence that doesn't leave when things get heavy. And if you've ever felt like your cat was the only one in the room who really understood what you were going through, you weren't imagining it. You were right. But here's what gets even more interesting. Because once you understand why your cat reads you this well, the next point will completely reframe something you've probably never thought twice about. Keep watching. 3. Does your cat always end up in the same spot? Maybe they curl up right by your pillow. Maybe they drape themselves across your feet. Maybe they settle in the exact center of your chest. Most owners think it's just a preference, like a favorite chair. It's not. Every position your cat gravitates to during sleep is communicating something specific about the bond between you and about how your cat has categorized you within their internal world. When your cat sleeps curled at the foot of the bed or across your feet, that positioning carries a very specific meaning, rooted in territorial behavior. Cats are both predator and prey, and they select sleep locations strategically. The foot of the bed gives them a vantage point. They can see the door, they can see the room, they can monitor the entire space while still being close to you. Your cat is saying, I want to be near you, but I also need to maintain awareness of my territory. It's trust expressed through strategic positioning. When your cat presses against your side or curls into the curve of your body, that's a different signal entirely. That's the behavior of a cat seeking full contact, full warmth and complete security. Cats who sleep pressed into their humans like this are displaying what researchers call secure attachment behavior. No vigilance, no escape route planning, just deep relaxation. If your cat sleeps pressed into you like that, they're not just looking for heat. They're choosing you specifically as their safe surface. When your cat chooses to sleep, with their head near your face or on your pillow, pay attention. That placement is deliberate, in a way that most owners completely miss. Cats have an extraordinary sense of smell, and the face and head carry the highest concentration of your personal scent. When your cat rests their head near yours, they're immersing themselves in your scent profile. They're reinforcing their internal map of who you are. Behaviorists call this scent bonding. The cat is essentially using your smell as a comfort anchor. The same way, a young kitten stays close to the smell of their mother. And then there's the belly-up position. If your cat has ever rolled onto their back and fallen asleep, completely exposed right beside you, you need to understand what you just witnessed. The belly is the most vulnerable part of a cat's body. In any situation involving threat, a cat's first instinct is to protect that area with claws and teeth. When a cat rolls onto their back and sleeps that way, next to you, they are communicating absolute unconditional trust. Zero threat detection. Complete peace. They are telling you, in the most primal language a cat has, that you are the safest thing in their territory. That's not something cats give away easily. That's something they give to exactly the right person, after earning it over time. And speaking of earning trust, the next point reveals something your cat does for you every single night that most people sleep right through without ever knowing it happened. This one genuinely changes things. 4. Let's go back to that story. From the beginning of the video, the woman who woke up at 3, I call it 2 in the morning to find her cat absolutely still, staring at the bedroom window. She thought her cat was being strange, maybe even a little creepy. What her cat was actually doing was one of the most ancient, instinctive acts in the entire feline behavioral repertoire. She was on watch. In the wild feline world, nighttime is when predators are most active. Owls, coyotes, larger carnivores. A sleeping cat is vulnerable. The solution, refined over thousands of generations, is vigilance during rest. Cats are light sleepers by evolutionary design. They cycle through sleep stages quickly and wake at the slightest unusual sound. Your cat has internalized that same program. When everyone in the house is asleep, and your cat is sitting still at the window, or stationed at the bedroom door, or positioned at the highest point in the room, with a view of the full space, they're not confused and they're not restless. They are working. They are actively monitoring their territory so that nothing catches either of you off guard. Research from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery has documented that domestic cats maintain significantly lighter sleep architecture compared to many other mammals. The leading explanation is that cats have retained the prey animal's need for constant environmental awareness. Even in safe homes, your cat sleeps lightly on purpose. They have been shaped by millions of years to be ready. And here is what makes this genuinely moving when you sit with it. Your cat knows on some level that they are not the largest or most powerful thing in the world. They understand threat and vulnerability in ways their instincts have built into them. And yet they still position themselves where they can see what's coming. They still sit in the dark, ears tracking sounds you can't even hear, monitoring a perimeter you don't even know exists. They're not doing it because they're certain they can handle whatever comes. they're doing it. Because being aware matters more than being completely unconscious. And they're doing it beside you. That's not instinct running on empty. That's something that looks a lot like shared vigilance. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. Because your cat hasn't just been watching over you. During sleep, they've also been quietly, systematically, and brilliantly changing your behavior. And you've had no idea it was happening. 5. Think carefully about this. Your cat jumps onto the bed at roughly the same time. Every night they knead the blanket once or twice, curl into their spot, purr against you, in exactly the way that makes you instinctively reach over and scratch behind their ears. You shift to give them more room. You let them stay. Even when you initially said the cat sleeps elsewhere, you've rearranged your sleeping position around them. Who's training? Who here? The answer might genuinely surprise you. Feline behavioral scientists have documented that. Cats use a sophisticated form of associative learning, not just to learn our routines, but to shape our behavior toward them. Cats observe cause and effect with remarkable precision. They test small behaviors, watch how we respond, and then repeat, and refine the ones that produce the results they want. This process isn't conscious strategizing. It's adaptive intelligence, and it's extraordinarily effective. A study from the University of Tokyo found that cats are acutely sensitive to the patterns of human behavior and will actively adjust their own behavior to influence outcomes in their favor. What this means practically is that your cat has been running quiet experiments on you from the very first night they slept beside you. They noticed that kneading the blanket made you soften and relax. They noticed that a slow, deep purr made you reach over and touch them. They noticed that lying completely still made you less likely to move them off the bed. And they filed every single one of those observations away. So that elaborate little ritual your cat goes through every night. The circling, the kneading, the specific angle they approach from, the way they look at you right before settling in. None of that is accidental. That sequence was built, refined over hundreds of nights through careful trial and response. Your cat didn't just find a comfortable spot. They engineered a routine that reliably produces exactly the kind of closeness and attention they want from you. Here's the thing, though. This isn't manipulation in any negative sense. It's connection. It's your cat learning the language of your behavior and speaking it back to you. The fact that they've invested that much time and attention into understanding how you work is its own form of profound trust. But the deepest thing your cat communicates by sleeping beside you. We haven't gotten there yet. And I'd argue it's the most important thing in this entire video. Stay with me. Because this last point reframes everything. 6. At the very start of this video, I told you that what your cat does while you sleep might be the most powerful proof of trust a cat can give. We've covered the vigilance, the reading of your emotions, the deliberate positioning, the deep evolutionary wiring that makes all of it possible. But underneath all of it, there is one truth that ties everything together. Cats are not demonstrative creatures. When it comes to affection, they don't wag their entire bodies. They don't bark. They don't spin in circles. They don't jump for joy in obvious ways. When a cat is happy, you have to know how to look. But trust, real deep, consistent trust, is even quieter. And the quietest, most profound expression of it is choosing to sleep beside you night after night without being asked. A landmark study from Oregon State University found that cats form secure attachment bonds with their human caregivers that are behaviorally similar to the bonds between human infants and their parents. The key marker of that secure attachment, and this is the part that matters, is consistent proximity seeking during rest and times of vulnerability. Not just when they want food, not just when they want to play, during the quiet, unguarded moments when the world has gone still. That is exactly what your cat is doing. And consider what it means. For an animal built on survival instinct and caution, in the wild, closing your eyes is a risk. It's the moment you're most exposed. Every animal on the planet has a sleep strategy designed to minimize that vulnerability. Finding high ground, hiding in cover, staying near those they trust completely. Your cat closes their eyes next to you. They make that choice every single night, against their most basic instincts, against the biological imperative that says stay alert, stay ready, never fully let go. Your cat chooses to be completely at rest beside you. Because in their world, you are not just a person they live with. You are the thing that makes rest feel safe. You are the presence that tells every ancient alarm in their nervous system, this is okay, this is territory secure. This is where I can finally sleep deeply. Cats don't have the words for what they feel. They can't write it down. They can't tell you directly. But every time your cat settles in beside you at night, tucks themselves against your body, and lets their breathing slow into the rhythm of deep sleep, they are saying it. They are saying it as clearly as any living thing ever has. And if you've been letting them sleep beside you all this time without knowing what it meant, now you know they weren't just sleeping next to you. They were choosing you every single night. If this video changed the way you see your cat, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure you're subscribed to us, because we go this deep every single time.